The entire hip-hop industry has just been thrown into an absolute state of cold-blooded, catastrophic paralysis. What you are witnessing right now is not a drill. It is not a marketing stunt. And it is certainly not just another regular internet entertainment beef. In a flash announcement that has sent radioactive shockwaves through corporate boardrooms from New York to Miami, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has officially pulled the pin on a financial grenade, unleashing a literal 24-hour doomsday countdown that promises the total irreversible demolition of Rick Ross's entire multi-million-dollar empire. The clock is ticking and the streets are in a literal panic. Within the next 24 hours, the ultimate luxury lie that has sustained one of hip-hop's biggest brands for 2 decades is scheduled to be completely annihilated. Insiders are confirming that 50 Cent has obtained an unredacted, highly confidential legal blueprint, music, a weapon so toxic that it strips away the biggest boss illusion layer by layer, exposing a terrifying underworld of unpayable debt and asset seizures. As music, we speak, Rick Ross is reportedly trapped behind closed doors, frantically scrambling to block the impending destruction. But 50 Cent has just issued a chilling, remorseless statement. Ricky, pack your bags. The game is officially over. In 24 hours, you don't exist in this culture anymore. To truly understand the absolute magnitude of the devastation unfolding across the music world right now, we have to tear open the history books and expose the raw bleeding roots of this conflict. This is not some temporary social media trend or a manufactured marketing stunt designed to sell records. What you are witnessing is the catastrophic culmination of a brutal 15-year psychological war of attrition between Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and William Leonard Roberts II, the man who built an entire multi-million-dollar kingdom on the name Rick Ross. For over a decade and a half, these two corporate juggernauts have been locked in a venomous, blood-soaked rivalry where the ultimate goal has never been to simply score a Billboard hit or top the streaming charts. No, the objective has always been much more sinister. The total uncompromising erasure of the other man's dignity and legacy from the culture forever. Every single Heil insider in the entertainment industry knew that eventually this ticking time bomb would detonate and one of these titans would deploy a weapon so toxic it would leave the other completely ruined. This unadulterated hatred traces its origin back to a single explosive moment in 2008, a completely different era of the music business where internet beef was just beginning to replace street warfare as the primary arena of rap conflict. The match was struck at the BET Hip Hop Awards when 50 Cent, then at the absolute height of his terrifying global dominance, allegedly gave Rick Ross a cold, dismissive glint that completely ignited a fuse of personal disrespect. Music, Ross, a rising giant fueled by the massive success of his early street anthems, took this silent dismissal, music, as an unforgivable act of public humiliation. Within months, Ross fired back, leaking music tracks directly disparaging 50 Cent's financial empire and challenging his street credibility. The response from the Queen's rapper was immediate, surgical, and historically devastating. 50 Cent did not just go to the studio to record a countertrack. Instead, he hired elite private investigators to dig deep into the dark, hidden archives of the state of Florida. He emerged holding government employment records, institutional checks, and official background photographs that shook the hip-hop world to its absolute core. The man who had built an entire musical kingdom on the myth of being a global drug kingpin was exposed to the world as a former institutional corrections officer at a Florida prison. The Officer Ricky revelation was an atomic strike. In that era's strict credibility economy, an exposure of that magnitude should have ended William Roberts' career within 24 hours. Any other artist would have folded under the immense weight of the public mockery. But Rick Ross executed a mind-bending psychological survival strategy. Music, he completely refused to fold. He completely doubled down on his wealthy presentation, choosing to outflex the truth. He went out and purchased boxing legend of Evander Holyfield's massive 109-room, 300-acre mega mansion, named it the Promised Land, and flooded the internet with an untouchable display of exotic cars, gold-plated chains, and custom private jets to drown out the biographical truth. He forced the audience to believe the presentation over the history. But while Ross was busy celebrating his survival and flaunting his assets, music, 50 Cent never stopped watching. Curtis Jackson is a master of slow-burning structural demolition. Even when hit with a massive $5 million court verdict in 2015 over a highly personalized sex tape, Scandal 50 Cent strategically filed for bankruptcy protection within 3 days, using the corporate legal system as a shield to protect his real assets while transitioning into a multi-million-dollar television and film mogul completely independent of the rap music market. He built an untouchable corporate media empire while waiting for the absolute perfect moment to dismantle Ross piece by piece. Which brings us directly to the terrifying visual trigger that changed the course of history just days ago. A devastating, highly authenticated photograph leaked across social media showing the self-proclaimed biggest boss trapped in a cramped, claustrophobic economy class coach seat on a regular commercial flight. No private aviation, no VIP luxury, just the raw, unmistakable image of a titan looking completely exposed. To the general public, it was a shock. But to 50 Cent, it was the ultimate proof that the golden armor was fractured. It was the exact music signal he had spent 15 years waiting for, and it officially set the stage for the cold-blooded, music, 24-hour execution clock that has just brought the entire industry to its knees. The absolute nightmare began flashing across insider networks at exactly 4:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday morning, tearing down the final remnants of corporate secrecy. To fully understand how beautifully and ruthlessly calculated this strike truly is, you have to visualize the exact geographic coordinate where the illusion was completely shattered. The Raines tarmac of the Opelika Executive Airport in Miami, Florida. According to highly detailed music leaks provided by Heil Airport security personnel who witnessed the entire event unfold, Rick Ross' signature custom private jet, the absolute flagship of Maybach Music Group, painted in matte black with bold luxury branding, was sitting outside its private hangar with its massive engines actively warming up for an emergency flight to New York. The flight crew was locked on board. The high-end baggage was securely stowed, and the internal cabin lights were set for immediate departure. Rick Ross was reportedly minutes away from boarding the vessel to escape the growing rumors surrounding his name. Music. Suddenly, the high-security perimeter gates of the airport were completely breached. 3 unmarked pitch-black SUVs tore across the secure runway, cutting off the multi-million-dollar aircraft's direct path to the taxiway. Before the shocked pilots could even establish radio contact with the air traffic control tower, a specialized team of corporate asset recovery agents, accompanied by heavily armed federal marshals, stepped out of the vehicles. They did not care about the platinum records hanging in the Maybach music offices, and they certainly did not care about the global celebrity status of the icon waiting inside the terminal. They were executing a mandatory, non-negotiable court-ordered asset seizure warrant. The scene was described by airport staff as absolute, unmitigated chaos. Music. The marshals marched directly onto the tarmac, ordering the flight crew to kill the jet's engines immediately. Within minutes, they walked up the boarding stairs, slapped official federal corporate legal locks directly onto the aircraft's cabin doors, music, and signaled for an airport tug vehicle to hook up the plane. In front of a crowd of horrified ground mechanics, the supreme symbol of Rick Ross' astronomical wealth was brutally towed off the active runway and locked behind the rusted iron doors of a secure bank-controlled hangar. Music. The biggest boss had not just been grounded. He had been subjected to the most public, soul-crushing financial ambush in the entire history of modern music entertainment. But as shocking as the physical tarmac ambush was, the true corporate horror movie for Maybach Music Group was only just beginning to load. Less than 2 hours after the jet was locked away from its owner, the digital infrastructure of the hip-hop community completely fractured. 50 Cent took to his main social media feed, uploading a series of high-definition, entirely unredacted, multi-page internal financial documents that left the entire industry completely breathless. The caption beneath the leaked papers was dripping with remorseless venom. "The repo man doesn't care about your rap lyrics, Ricky. Pack your bags, boy. You're flying coach for the rest of your life. #GunIt, #NewFlyZone." The leaked receipts were absolutely catastrophic for Ross' public persona. They contained highly confidential internal ledgers from a high-end aviation financing firm that detailed a deep history of financial distress that the public was never supposed to find out about. According to these authenticated records, the monthly lease and operational maintenance obligations on the custom jet amounted to a staggering $185,000 per month. The documents proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Ross had utterly failed to clear these critical payments for 6 consecutive months. The total outstanding balance, aggressively multiplied by astronomical late penalties, collection fees, and accumulated interest, had quietly snowballed into a terrifying hidden debt of $1,412,99421. The leak completely exposed the fact that the viral photo of Ross sitting in a crammed economy coach seat was not some humble eccentric travel preference. It was a brutal logistical reality because his wings had been legally clipped by a bank foreclosure weeks prior. The emotional fallout inside Rick Ross' immediate inner circle was described by insiders as music, nothing short of absolute blood-soaked carnage. At approximately 7:30 a.m., an anonymous whistleblower account on Telegram, Music, widely believed to belong to a recently terminated, disgruntled executive assistant within Maybach Music Group, Music, leaked verified screenshots of an encrypted corporate WhatsApp group chat labeled MMG Executive Boardroom. The text messages painted a terrifying picture of pure music, unadulterated panic, and internal corporate terror as the reality of 50 Cent strike set in. Music. In the leaked transcripts, Ross was reportedly going on a furious, unchecked rampage inside his mansion, screaming in all capital letters, demanding to know how his private financial routing numbers had been breached. He was reportedly throwing high-end smartphones against marble walls, threatening to fire his entire legal defense team on the spot, and ordering his digital media managers to completely shut down the company's internal servers to prevent further data drops. The panic was so intense that several top executives within his camp reportedly threatened to resign immediately, realizing that the entire multi-dead illusion of the untouchable biggest boss brand was being systemically dismantled in front of millions of hyperactive fans online. But right here, at the Music, absolute peak of the chaos, comes the first mind-bending twist that has left the world's top corporate lawyers completely paralyzed with shock. Music, as investigative journalists and forensic accountants, began deeply analyzing the fine print at the very bottom of the leaked repossession paperwork. They discovered a hidden corporate detail that turned this entire celebrity scandal into a literal psychological thriller. The default debt on the private jet had not been bought up by a standard commercial bank, a regular debt collection agency, or a traditional liquidation firm. It turns out that exactly 3 weeks before the federal marshals raided the airport tarmac, a mysterious Delaware-registered corporate shell entity called Prestige Sky Holdings LLC had quietly stepped in and purchased the entire distress loan package from the original aviation lender for a massive unhedged cash payment. And who is the sole 100% owner of Prestige Sky Holdings LLC? Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Let the sheer terrifying weight of that reality sink into your mind for a second. 50 Cent did not just happen to find out about Rick Ross' secret financial debts through an industry tip. He literally bought the debt. He intentionally transformed himself into Rick Ross's personal financial landlord. Music. He was not just watching the bank take the plane from the sidelines. 50 Cent was the exact corporate executive who legally signed the emergency order to send the repo men to the airport hangar. Rick Ross was not just losing his asset to a random economic crisis. He had accidentally defaulted directly into the hands of his most ruthless, unforgiving Music enemy, who now holds absolute legal authority over his primary physical symbol of success. The digital landscape did not just fracture. It suffered a complete and total structural collapse at exactly 1:15 p.m. yesterday afternoon when 50 Cent went live on his primary platform. But he wasn't sitting in some corporate office in New York, and he wasn't riding in the back of a luxury armored vehicle. The camera slowly panned out to reveal that 50 Cent was actively walking up the gold-plated stairs of Rick Ross's actual repossessed private jet. Over 1.88 million concurrent viewers watched in real-time horror as the G&IT mogul toured the high-end leather cabin, laughing hysterically while throwing the custom Maybach Music Group embroidered pillows onto the floor. He sat down directly in the pilot seat, poured a glass of luxury cognac, and dropped the second most catastrophic twist of this entire saga. He looked dead into the camera lens, held up music, a thick, notarized folder of legal contracts, and delivered a message that instantly turned this celebrity gossip into a literal corporate horror movie. You see this print right here, Ricky? Your high PRIC lawyers aren't very smart, boy. This jet loan wasn't an isolated line of credit. It was cross-sea collateralized. With your real estate portfolio, you used the equity of your Star Island mansion in Miami to back up this plane. Music, and since you defaulted on my company, guess who just filed a mandatory notice of foreclosure on your actual house? Music, that's right, Ricky. I'm your landlord now. You've got exactly 24 hours to clear out of Miami, or I'm putting my Git logos on your front gates. The shock of that live stream statement caused an immediate systemic blackout across internet hip-hop culture. Within 3 hours, the hashtag #RioRicky was trending at #1 worldwide on X, clocking in at an astronomical 2 million frantic, panicked music posts. Traditional algorithms completely melted under the sheer volume of users trying to verify the legal definitions of cross-collateralized defaults. Media personalities and independent commentators instantly went into full meltdown mode. On his live stream channel, DJ Academics was spotted screaming at the top of his lungs, slamming music, his fists onto his desk while analyzing the public court dockets. This is unprecedented. This, music, is an absolute corporate execution live on the internet. 50 Cent did not just win the rap beef. He literally bought the man's contract and his physical properties. We are watching a multimillionaire persona get completely erased in real time. Ross is currently stuck in an economical class seat with no jet, no runway clearance, and potentially no roof over his head in Miami. The absolute carnage quickly spilled onto the timelines of other prominent artists. Meek Mill tried to jump into the comment section to defend his former label boss, tweeting out a furious response. Y'all feeding into fake news and corporate propaganda. MMG is forever rich. We got paper you can't even count. Stop playing with the boss. But 50 Cent, music, operating with absolute remorseless precision, instantly clapped back within seconds, replying to the text, "Shut up, Meek, before I buy your contract from him for a single $1 and make you clean the jet floors manually." The sheer humiliation was so profound that Meek Mill completely deleted the tweet within 60 seconds, sending shockwaves of panic through the remaining Maybach Music roster. Behind the scenes, the corporate fallout was swift, calculated, and totally merciless. By late yesterday evening, confidential reports began leaking from anonymous whistleblowers, claiming that 3 major multi-million-dollar global beverage and lifestyle brands had immediately called emergency midnight board meetings. The corporate executives were reportedly terrified that Rick Ross' impending public bankruptcy and the high-profile federal asset seizure would permanently destroy their corporate brand equity. A directive was allegedly issued to temporarily pause all active digital marketing campaigns, global billboards, and promotional contracts associated with the rapper until a full financial audit could clear his name. To make matters infinitely more chaotic, elite hip-hop figures who had spent years standing side by side with Ross on platinum records completely vanished from his mentions. Global superstar Drake reportedly dropped a single cryptic laughing emoji on a major rap blog's post detailing the foreclosure notice before going completely radio silent. Nobody wanted to cross 50 Cent's clinical legal team, and nobody wanted to be associated with a falling titan. Music. But just when the public thought the drama had reached its absolute ceiling, a third terrifying piece of evidence leaked from an anonymous whistleblower account on a secured Telegram channel at exactly 11:45 p.m. A blurry high-contrast photograph surfaced showing an official federal courier vehicle parked outside the heavy iron gates of Rick Ross's primary Georgia estate, the Promised Land. The photograph captured a high-security guard taking delivery of a massive sealed heavy-duty manila envelope. The camera angle caught a clear glimpse of the return address stamped on the top corner of the document. It did not belong to a private bank, and it did not belong to 50 Cent's shell corporation. Music, it belonged to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service. The leaked text accompanying the photo alleged that 50 Cent's private investigative team did not just hand the repossession papers to the public. They had reportedly delivered Ross' entire hidden corporate financial ledger directly into the hands of federal tax authorities, triggering an emergency asset freeze that goes infinitely deeper than a missing private jet. Is the federal government preparing to shut down the entire promised land mansion? What terrifying evidence is locked inside that federal envelope? The doomsday countdown clock is moving closer to zero, and the answers are about to change everything. The sheer terrifying velocity at which this drama is expanding has completely overwhelmed the global digital